Toxic people don't take over your life. You let them. The question is, how much longer will you allow it? They don't just show up by chance. They exploit weak boundaries, feed off your reactions, and thrive on your fear of confrontation. Most people stay trapped because they don't know how to fight back. But you're about to change that. In this video, I'll reveal 8 powerful strategies to shut down toxic individuals, take back control, and protect your peace. No more excuses, no more manipulation. It's time to break free. Number 1. Refuse to engage in their games. Toxic people thrive on control. They manipulate, provoke, and drag you into their drama, all while making it seem like you're the problem. Sometimes it's subtle, like guilt-tripping you into compliance. Other times it's blatant, creating chaos just to stay relevant. The only way to win? Step away. The less you engage, the less power they have. These people are masters of manipulation. They know exactly how to push your buttons, setting up situations where you feel forced to respond. But here's the truth. Every time you react, you're reinforcing their control. The real strategy? Stay calm, disengage, and let them fight a battle you're no longer part of. I once dealt with someone who loved provoking arguments in social settings. They'd throw out passive-aggressive remarks, waiting for me to bite. For years I did, explaining, defending, trying to prove them wrong. It never worked. Then one day, I changed my approach. When they made another snide comment, I simply shrugged and moved on. No argument, no reaction. They pushed again, but I didn't engage. You could see their frustration. Without my response, their game fell apart. Over time, they stopped, because I stopped giving them what they wanted. Detaching isn't about being passive. It's about being in control. First, recognize their tactics. Pay attention to the patterns. What triggers do they use? How do they try to pull you in? Once you spot it, you can break the cycle. Second, stay composed. Emotional reactions feed their power. Don't give them the satisfaction. Third, limit your response. Sometimes, silence is the strongest answer. Other times, a simple, neutral comment like, "That's an interesting perspective," is enough to shut it down. Finally, set boundaries. Make it clear their games won't work on you. Affirm, "I'm not discussing this," or "Let's talk when it's a real conversation," ends it before it starts. The hard part? They won't like it. When you take away their control, they may call you distant, cold, or even rude. But that's just another trap. Their opinion isn't your responsibility. The deeper lesson here is about reclaiming your energy. You don't owe your peace to anyone, especially not to people who thrive on negativity. Walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. By refusing to engage, you set the terms for your own life, instead of letting someone else dictate your emotional state. At the end of the day, life is too short to be tangled in toxic battles. Choosing peace isn't giving up, it's stepping up. And when you prioritize clarity, self-respect, and inner strength over pointless conflict, you always come out ahead. Number 2, know when to walk away. Breaking free from a toxic person is one of the most difficult yet life-changing decisions you'll ever make. It's not just about walking away from someone. It's about reclaiming your emotional space, protecting your well-being, and choosing peace over chaos. And here's the unexpected truth. Leaving isn't always about a dramatic exit. More often, it's a slow, steady realization that you deserve better, followed by quiet but firm actions that prioritize your own happiness. People who thrive on manipulation and control are experts at making you second-guess yourself. They'll make promises they never intend to keep, guilt-trip you into staying, or paint you as the villain for wanting distance. "I can't believe you do this to me," they'll say. Or, If you leave, it proves you never really cared. And for a while, you might believe them. But the reality is, holding on to a relationship, whether romantic, platonic, or even familial, that continuously drains you isn't strength. It's self-betrayal. I once had someone in my life who was charming and charismatic around others, but emotionally exhausting when we were alone. Every conversation revolved around their struggles, their problems, their feelings. My thoughts and experiences barely seemed to matter. If I tried to open up, they'd either dismiss my feelings or somehow turn the discussion back to themselves. I kept making excuses for them. They're just stressed, I told myself. They don't mean to be so self-absorbed. But as time passed, I realized that no matter how much I gave, I was always running on empty. The turning point came during one of the most difficult times in my life. I reached out, hoping for support, and they brushed it off with, "I've got my own stuff to deal with." That's when it became clear. They weren't intentionally cruel, but they didn't truly care. Their priority was themselves, and my needs had never been part of the equation. So I made a choice, not in anger, but in self-preservation. I stopped trying to keep the connection alive. And the relief I felt afterward? It was like coming up for air after being underwater for too long. Letting go doesn't always mean cutting someone off entirely. Sometimes, it's about creating distance, choosing not to respond immediately, spending less time with them, or slowly fading them out of your life. Other times, it means setting clear boundaries. "I'm not available for this discussion," or "I can't be the person you unload everything on anymore." The most powerful shift, however, happens internally. When you stop letting their words, their opinions, and their actions dictate your emotions. The hardest truth: sometimes the person you need to walk away from is a relative. Society teaches us that family bonds are unbreakable, that we should endure difficult relationships simply because of blood ties. But the reality is, family doesn't justify toxicity. No one is entitled to drain your energy or manipulate you, no matter how closely they're related to you. Choosing distance doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you love yourself enough to refuse unhealthy dynamics. Here's the deeper realization. Walking away isn't about giving up on someone else. It's about showing up for yourself. It's choosing self-respect over guilt, clarity over confusion, and emotional freedom over obligation. It's the moment you decide, "I am worthy of relationships that bring balance and mutual care, not ones that leave me feeling exhausted and unappreciated." And once you take that step, you'll see the truth. You weren't just walking away from them. You were walking toward a version of yourself that is lighter, freer, and stronger. Leaving a toxic situation isn't weakness. It's courage. These people might try to make you feel guilty, question your choices, or even rewrite history to make themselves the victim. But once you step outside their influence, you'll recognize what was happening all along. It was never about you. It was always about them. And the best part? When you let go of toxic relationships, you make space for genuine connections. People who see you, appreciate you, and bring positivity into your life. That's when you stop surviving and start truly living. Number 3, master the art of non-reaction. Reclaiming your emotional power begins with a critical skill: learning how to detach from toxic manipulation. People who thrive on negativity don't just seek attention. They rely on your reactions to fuel their control. They bait you with drama, guilt, or provocation, knowing that if they can get under your skin, they can dictate how you feel. The moment you engage, whether through anger, frustration, or trying to defend yourself, you're giving them exactly what they want: control over your emotions. But here's the truth. You don't have to give them that power. The most effective way to stop toxic people in their tracks is to refuse to participate in their mind games. Instead of letting them pull you into their chaos, you remain composed, detached, and unaffected. Imagine someone throwing insults, blaming you for something that isn't your fault, or twisting your words to make you feel guilty. Now, instead of reacting, you simply don't engage. No emotional outburst, no justifications, just calm indifference. At first, this might feel unnatural. You might want to correct them, defend yourself, or call them out on their behavior. But the more you resist the urge to react, the more their influence over you fades. Toxic people thrive on emotional responses. Without them, they lose their grip. They expect you to get upset, to argue, to explain yourself. When you don't, their power over you crumbles. Mastering emotional detachment doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It means you control when and where you express them. You're not shutting down. You're choosing where to invest your energy. The more you practice, the stronger this skill becomes. And over time, their words and actions stop affecting you the way they used to. Next time someone tries to provoke you, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself, I don't need to engage in this. Instead of fueling their behavior, respond with something neutral like, I hear you, or that's your perspective. Then, remove yourself from the situation. The more you disengage, the more you reinforce the message. They no longer have control over you. This isn't about ignoring problems or avoiding difficult conversations. It's about protecting your peace. You don't owe toxic people an emotional reaction, an explanation, or a defense. What you owe yourself is freedom from their influence. And that starts with choosing not to play their game. Number 4, the broken record technique. Toxic people don't respect boundaries. They push, pressure, and persist until they get what they want, making it feel nearly impossible to stand your ground. If you've ever had someone refuse to accept your no, you know how draining it can be. It could be a friend who expects you to drop everything for them, guilt-tripping you when you don't. Or a partner who keeps bringing up the same request, hoping to wear down your resistance. These individuals don't take rejection lightly. They treat your boundaries as obstacles to overcome rather than limits to respect. They keep pushing, expecting that if they're relentless enough, you'll eventually cave just to avoid conflict. This is where the echo technique becomes your best defense. Instead of getting drawn into endless debates or feeling pressured to explain yourself, you respond with the same calm, firm statement, repeating it as many times as necessary. Picture this. Someone insists you do something you're uncomfortable with. Instead of explaining or justifying your decision, you simply state, "That doesn't work for me." When they push back, you stay steady. "That doesn't work for me." No long explanations, no frustration, just the same neutral response again and again. At first, they may try harder, using guilt, manipulation, or even anger to force a reaction. But the more consistent you are, the more powerless they become. Without an argument to latch onto, or an emotional reaction to manipulate, their control over you weakens. Eventually, they either back off or reveal just how unwilling they are to respect your boundaries. This technique is especially effective with people who assume they're entitled to your time, energy, or resources. It shifts the dynamic, making it clear that your decisions aren't open for negotiation. The echo technique works because it prevents unnecessary conflict while reinforcing your limits with quiet confidence. Toxic people count on persistence to get their way, but when they hit an unmovable boundary, their tactics lose all power. Remember, your boundaries are not a debate. You don't have to justify protecting your peace. You don't owe explanations for choosing what's best for you. Holding firm isn't rude or selfish, it's essential. And once you master this approach, you'll never feel pressured into breaking your own limits again. Number 5. Prioritize self-care. Toxic people can drain the life out of you. Whether through manipulation, endless negativity, or constant criticism, they leave you mentally exhausted and emotionally depleted. Over time, their influence can weigh you down, making you feel powerless. That's why taking care of yourself isn't just a luxury. It's essential for your well-being. Think of self-care as building a protective barrier between you and the emotional chaos they create. Without it, their negativity seeps in, leaving you overwhelmed, resentful, and burned out. Protecting your mental and emotional space is just as important as setting physical boundaries. But self-care isn't just about pampering yourself. It's about making intentional choices that safeguard your peace. It's knowing when to say no without guilt, recognizing when you need space to recharge, and reminding yourself that your needs are just as important as anyone else's. When dealing with toxic people, real self-care means prioritizing yourself in ways they never will. Toxic individuals expect you to cater to them, sacrificing your time and energy for their benefit. They don't consider how their behavior affects you, because they believe their needs come first. But here's what they won't tell you. You don't have to keep giving. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to fix them, support them, or absorb their negativity. You have every right to protect your emotional well-being. Prioritizing yourself might look like limiting interactions with those who drain you, practicing mindfulness to stay centered, or engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. It also means recognizing when a relationship is taking more than it gives, and having the strength to step back when necessary. You're not responsible for managing someone else's toxic behavior, but you are responsible for maintaining your own inner peace. Philosophies like Stoicism teach that true strength comes from within, and that means not allowing external negativity to dictate your happiness. When you stop seeking validation from those who never prioritize you, their power over you fades. When you shift your focus from pleasing others to protecting your own well-being, you break free from their grip. Self-care isn't selfish. It's a statement that your emotional health matters. And when you finally commit to it, you'll realize something profound. The less energy you waste on toxic people, the more you have to create a life filled with real peace, fulfillment, and purpose. Number 6. Build your support system. Picture yourself as the guardian of your own inner sanctuary. You've reinforced your emotional walls with firm boundaries, mastered the skill of remaining unshaken by negativity, and distanced yourself from toxic influences. But even the strongest fortress cannot stand alone forever. Every resilient individual needs a source of reinforcement, a trusted group of allies who help maintain their strength when faced with adversity. This is where your circle of support becomes invaluable. Think of it as your personal shield wall, a formation of trustworthy people who stand beside you, protecting you from the erosion of self-worth that toxic individuals try to inflict. The ancient Stoics, particularly Seneca, believed that while self-sufficiency is important, life is best lived in the company of those who uplift and inspire. True fortitude isn't just about solitude. It's about choosing the right companions who align with your values, encourage growth, and reinforce your inner peace. When negativity surrounds you, these are the people who remind you of who you truly are. They offer clarity when your thoughts become clouded, wisdom when emotions run high, and reassurance when doubts creep in. A reliable support system doesn't just offer comfort. It acts as a grounding force that prevents toxic energy from destabilizing you. Engaging with toxic people can be emotionally exhausting. Their constant manipulation and negativity can leave you feeling depleted and questioning yourself. But when you have the right people in your life, you create a safe space to process your emotions, express frustrations, and regain perspective. Venting to someone who truly listens and understands isn't just a relief, it's a form of healing. Their presence reinforces your emotional armor, ensuring that the toxicity of others doesn't take root within you. Toxic individuals thrive on control, often making you feel small or insignificant. That's why surrounding yourself with supportive people is more than just a coping mechanism. It's a counterbalance to their influence. The right relationships fuel your confidence, remind you of your strengths, and reaffirm your worth. Encouragement from those who truly see you can reignite your motivation, especially when negativity threatens to drain it. Strength isn't just about standing firm against adversity. It's also about recognizing when to lean on the right people. When you cultivate deep, meaningful connections with those who genuinely support you, you're not just shielding yourself from toxic influences. You're creating a life rooted in stability, trust, and mutual respect. And in the face of life's challenges, that is the greatest source of resilience you can have. Number 7, prioritize self-care. Engaging with toxic people can feel like being caught in a relentless battle. Their negativity, manipulation, and emotional drain can leave you feeling exhausted and depleted. That's why protecting your well-being isn't optional. It's essential. Just as a seasoned warrior maintains their weapons and armor, you must prioritize self-care to fortify your mind and spirit against negativity. True self-care isn't just about relaxation. It's about building resilience. It means making choices that strengthen your emotional stability and help you maintain clarity, no matter what chaos surrounds you. Without it, toxic people can erode your sense of self, leaving you vulnerable to their influence. But with the right approach, you can safeguard your energy and maintain control over your own mental and emotional state. One of the most effective ways to strengthen yourself is by engaging in activities that replenish you. Whether it's movement, creativity, or simply taking time for yourself, these moments allow you to reset and regain perspective. Physical activities like running, yoga, or hiking not only improve physical health but also clear the mind. Creative outlets such as painting, writing, or music can serve as powerful emotional releases, helping you process stress in a productive way. The Stoics practiced mindfulness and reflection, understanding that inner peace is cultivated through intentional practice. Taking time to quiet the mind, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or moments of solitude, creates a sense of stability that makes it harder for external negativity to affect you. The more you practice, the more you develop the ability to remain calm, even in difficult interactions. Spending time in nature is another underrated but powerful tool. The Stoics believed in living in harmony with the natural world, recognizing that stepping away from the noise of daily life can provide clarity and a renewed sense of balance. A simple walk outdoors, sitting in a quiet park, or hiking through the woods can offer a much-needed reset, helping you distance yourself from toxic influences and see things with a fresh perspective. Self-care isn't just something you turn to when you're completely drained. It should be a consistent practice. Think of it as maintaining your emotional foundation. Pay attention to your stress levels, recognize when you need rest, and nourish your body with good food and sufficient sleep. These simple habits may seem small, but they form the foundation for long-term resilience, making it easier to handle difficult people without being consumed by their negativity. Just as you wouldn't allow toxic people to cross your personal boundaries, you must also protect your self-care time. Prioritizing yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Set clear limits. Say no to obligations that deplete you, and create space for activities that help you recharge. When you make self-care a non-negotiable part of your life, you shift from being reactive to being in control. Instead of being thrown off balance by negativity, you become anchored in your own strength. Toxic people thrive on the emotional responses they provoke, but when you cultivate inner stability, their influence fades. The more you nurture your well-being, the more naturally you repel toxicity, and the more space you create for peace, clarity, and fulfillment. A well-prepared warrior doesn't wait until the moment of battle to sharpen their skills. They train daily. Likewise, your emotional resilience is built through intentional, ongoing self-care. By investing in yourself consistently, you ensure that no matter what challenges arise, you can meet them with unwavering confidence and strength. Number 8. Stay focused on your purpose. Toxic people excel at pulling others into their turmoil. They create distractions, stir up drama, and try to make their problems your responsibility. If you're not careful, you'll find yourself caught in their web, spending time and energy on conflicts that have nothing to do with your true purpose. But the moment you commit to your goals and refuse to engage in their negativity, their hold on you weakens. Staying focused isn't just about avoiding distractions. It's about reclaiming your time and energy for what truly matters. People who thrive on toxicity don't just want attention. They want to keep you from advancing. They'll downplay your ambitions, interrupt your progress, and demand your involvement in their chaos. Why? Because a focused, determined person is someone they can't control. When you're fully invested in your own growth, you become unreachable to those who feed off drama. I once worked with someone who seemed to create problems wherever they went. They thrived on gossip, loved stirring conflict, and constantly dragged others into pointless debates. At first, I got pulled into their cycle, wasting time justifying myself, responding to unnecessary negativity, and letting their distractions affect my productivity. But one day, I realized something. Every moment I spent engaging with their drama was a moment stolen from my own goals, my peace, and my progress. So, I made a decision. I stopped feeding into their antics. I kept conversations brief and professional, redirected my focus to my work, and refused to be drawn into unnecessary discussions. The more I ignored their chaos, the less influence they had over me. And something interesting happened. Others started following my lead. Without an audience, their power faded. So, how do you stay focused in a world filled with toxic distractions? First, define your goals clearly. Remind yourself why your work, dreams, and peace of mind matter more than pointless drama. Second, treat negativity like background noise. You can acknowledge that toxic people exist, but that doesn't mean you need to engage with them. Third, guard your time fiercely. If an interaction doesn't serve your growth, don't hesitate to walk away. And finally, fuel your motivation. Surround yourself with influences that push you forward rather than hold you back. Some may call this approach cold, especially if it means distancing yourself from certain relationships, including friends or even family. But protecting your focus isn't selfish. It's essential. You can't build the life you want if you're constantly getting pulled into someone else's negativity. Here's the truth. Staying focused isn't just about ignoring toxic people. It's about valuing yourself enough to invest your energy where it truly belongs. When you are deeply committed to your own path, outside distractions lose their grip on you. Toxic people will always exist, but when your purpose is stronger than their noise, they become irrelevant. And the best part? You don't just survive their chaos, you rise above it. That's real success. Your energy is too valuable to waste on negativity. Every moment spent on toxic people is time stolen from your goals, your peace, and your future. Stay focused on what truly matters: your growth, your purpose, and the life you're building. The key isn't just avoiding negativity, but choosing to invest in what strengthens you. Set firm boundaries, protect your peace, and refuse to let distractions derail you. The more you commit to your path, the less power toxicity has over you. If this message spoke to you, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's build a community that uplifts and empowers. And if you're ready for more insights on taking control of your life, like and subscribe. Stay strong, stay focused, and never let anything hold you back. See you in the next video.